What's up, guys? Welcome to another podcast. I'm here with Chris again. What's up, Chris?
What's up, brother?
So today we're going to talk about condos and townhouses. And what we're seeing out there is there's been a lot of issues with financing because a lot of times we don't do our homework up front to find out whether or not the budget is sound and whether or not the complex is the insurance has the right coverage.
Right.
So me, as a lender, I want to give that advice to listing agents to sit down with the sellers and make sure you get all that stuff up front, all the HOA docs, including the budget, the master insurance policy, and have us review it to make sure that you're going to be able to get traditional financing.
Right, and insurance as well, right?
Oh, definitely. Insurance, we've been seeing with all the issues with fires in California, that since insurance has gone up dramatically, a lot of these complexes haven't really got the right coverages because it's really expensive.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've heard in some cases where the HOA is also behind and they don't have the necessary funds allocated in case there's like a let's just say an earthquake or the roof is falling. They don't have the funds to cover all those repairs, right?
Yeah, so that's, so what we look at is reserves. So rule of thumb, you want to have at least 10% of the revenue of the complex being put into reserves. And that's what you're talking about. You want to have all these monies that's going to be put as reserves. For coverages, the coverage that you need is based on whatever the cost to rebuild is of the complex.
Right.
So for example, if it costs $70 million to rebuild the complex and you only have $50 million worth of coverage, you're underinsured.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that we look at that stuff up front and make sure that there's not going to be any issues.
Is that going to prevent someone from obtaining a loan and purchasing that condo then?
If we're trying to do traditional financing like conventional, FHA and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay.
So have you heard of stuff that's called non-QM or...
Yes.
Okay, so when the place is non-warrantable, they call that non-QM. There is non-QM loans that we can do, but that's going to require a bigger down payment. In most cases, it's 20 to 25% minimum, and your interest rate's going to be a lot higher.
Oh, crap.
So we want to make sure that we take a look at that stuff up front. So if you're a seller, you're going to get all these documents every year from your HOA. So when you meet with your agent to give, you're going to give them your pitch to list it. That's what I would ask as an agent. Hey, can you bring me your HOA docs? As a professional, I want to make sure that we have everything in place so that you're going to be able to sell the place to as many buyers as possible.
Thank you so much for pointing that out, man.
Yeah,
I think that's really good.
I know that you just got a listing currently, so let's make sure we help you make sure that we get that thing marketed properly and look at all the HOA docs. And one thing I will tell you is, if the place is FHA approved, even if it is FHA approved, you still need to review the master insurance policy because even though it was FHA approved, let's say 2 years ago, but let's say the insurance changed, it may not qualify anymore. So we want to make sure we review the insurance.
What about, I've heard about like getting, let's just say it's not, the community's not FHA, but you can get an FHA spot approval. How does that work? So
essentially what we do is we get all the necessary documentation from the HOA. There's a cert or a form that is an FHA form that the HOA can fill out.
Okay.
And we review that, and if it meets FHA guideline, our underwriting / condo department can approve it to go FHA financing as a single unit. So even though it's not on the list as an FHA approval, but because it meets the guideline, we can actually do an FHA loan on it.
Okay, good. That's good.
So that's
awesome.
Opens up the floodgate for FHA buyers just in case.
I think that's good. Awesome.
So that's just a good topic right now about condos and townhouses. Make sure to reach out to us for more information.
Let us know.
See you.